kind of fun how full of secrets the world is, isn't it? But as fascinating as all the forest and ocean that's still yet to be explored, there are also plenty of manufactured locations on planet Earth where only the very small segment of people who work there truly know what goes on within. We're going to start off with Pine Gap in Australia. This is a secretive facility that sits in the Australian outback, about 12 miles southwest of Alice Springs. It's run jointly by the United States and Australia and is officially known as the Joint Defense Facility Pine Gap, or JDFPG. It was established in 1966 with the purpose of collecting signals intelligence, but so much of what really goes on here is unsurprisingly classified. So of course, rumors are aplenty. The facility is equipped with advanced technology like satellite dishes and radomes, which are structures that cover antennas to protect them from the environment. Obviously, these are used to monitor things, but as for what they're paying attention to, classified. There are some people in the conspiratorial realm that say this place is involved in more than just signals intelligence, that maybe the place plays a role in global surveillance, missile tracking, or even extraterrestrial activities. The facility's role in supporting US military operations has also led to a lot of speculation. The Australian government does acknowledge the existence of Pine Gap, but is very tight-lipped about what actually goes on there. If you are enjoying our channel so far, then please don't be tight-lipped yourself. Comment down below there and don't forget to subscribe as well. I'm getting good at just throwing those in. I always connect them. I'm a very talented person. Alright, let's switch gears for a moment and discuss one of my favorite subjects, haunted hotel rooms. Legend has it that in the early years of the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel in Canada, a couple and their young daughter stayed in room 873. Now, there are many different versions of this story, usually ending with the daughter or the entire family dying. But after this unfortunate incident, the room continued being rented out for a while to guests, but guests would then start running out of the room screaming, claiming they'd get startled awake to the sound of screams in their room, but they'd only find bloody handprints on the mirrors, no one else there. But these prints would disappear by the time hotel staff would arrive to investigate. In an attempt to hush up the incident and avoid any more negative publicity, the hotel sealed off room 873. At least that's how the story goes. So even though the room is officially out of commission, guests staying nearby have reported eerie occurrences ever since. The faint sound of a child weeping, mysterious shadows, and unexplained noises are also reported pretty regularly. And if you ask hotel staff about room 873, they'll claim it never existed. I mean, there is no actual room there, it's just a wall. But there clearly used to be a room, 873. First of all, there are rooms ending in 73 on every floor. There's this gap in the middle of the hallway on the 8th floor where it looks like a room would have been. Plus, there's a light on the ceiling of the empty spot, just like there are lights by every other room. There's lots of signs that point to the fact that they just kind of covered it up. But staff, for whatever reason, they're just not allowed to talk about it. It's pretty interesting. Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel has gained quite the reputation as a haunted tourist attraction. So if you're ever lucky enough to visit this place in the Canadian Rockies, keep an eye out for those lingering spirits from room 873. Next on the list is pretty fascinating and actually makes a lot of sense. It's the Svalbard Global Seed Vault in Norway. So this place is sometimes referred to as the Doomsday Vault. It's not as ominous as it sounds, though. This place is built into the permafrost of a mountain on the island of Spitsbergen and was officially opened in 2008. So what's this place used for? Well, it's a seed vault. It acts as a global backup storage facility for seeds, housing and preserving a huge collection of plant species from all over the world. And the idea here is to safeguard the world's plants by storing duplicate samples of seeds in a secure, remote location. Norway seems like a pretty ideal spot for that. The permafrost surrounding the vault provides a natural form of refrigeration, perfect for preserving seeds. The vault is a fail-safe designed to withstand natural and man-made disasters, even nuclear war or climate-related catastrophes, making sure that will have seeds to repopulate the earth with crops if anything goes catastrophically wrong. Probably no surprise to anyone, but this place is heavily safeguarded and completely off limits to the general public. Next is North Brother Island. North Brother Island in the East River near New York City has a very interesting history. Probably the most famous story about this place is that it used to house quarantined people. In the late 1800s, Riverside Hospital was built on North Brother Island to isolate and treat individuals with contagious diseases like smallpox and typhoid and tuberculosis. One of the most famous residents was known as Typhoid Mary, an asymptomatic carrier of typhoid fever who was confined on the island for over 2 decades. But the hospital was eventually closed in the 40s, and North Brother Island was completely abandoned. The crumbling remains of the hospital buildings and other structures still stand on the island today, giving it a pretty eerie vibe. Now, the place is mostly closed off to the public. Visits must be requested and are only considered under very specific conditions, but those who have set foot on the island have told stories about strange sounds and ghostly apparitions there. Unsurprising considering the isolation, the decay, and its very dark past. Next up, we have Room 39 in North Korea. I guess we could throw the entirety of North Korea on here technically, but we'll just narrow it down to this for now. Room 39 is a secretive organization reportedly located in North Korea, also known as Bureau 39. It operates under the government's ruling Workers' Party of Korea. So Room 39's main focus is engaging in various illicit activities to generate funds for the North Korean regime. Specific activities carried out aren't publicly disclosed, obviously, but some things have been rumored to take place, like counterfeiting currency, the trafficking of illicit substances, arms sales. One of the most infamous allegations is that Room 39 has been engaged in the production and distribution of counterfeit US currency known as supernotes. These high-quality counterfeit bills are difficult to detect and are suspected to have been used to fund North Korea's activities abroad. Surtsey in Iceland. So Surtsey is a volcanic island off the southern coast of Iceland. Its history is pretty fascinating because it emerged from the depths of the Atlantic Ocean as a result of a volcanic eruption that began in 1963 and lasted all the way up until 67. The island is named Surtur, the fire giant from Norse mythology. When the island was first formed, the island is named after Surtur, the fire giant from Norse mythology. When the island was first formed, it was completely barren with no signs of life. Can't imagine why. You probably wouldn't expect any life to form in a place like this, but you'd be wrong. Over the years, scientists have been monitoring the place and have actually seen plant and even animal life starting to form on the island. It's kind of become a natural laboratory for scientists studying how life gradually forms on new land masses. Surtsey is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and access to the island is highly restricted. Only a select few scientists are allowed to visit, and special permits are required. This is to prevent heavy human interference and just let the place do its thing. Next up, we have Diego Garcia. This place sits in the central Indian Ocean and part of the British Indian Ocean Territory. It's home to a joint US-British military base that's been in operation since the 70s. The military facilities on Diego Garcia have been used for various purposes like intelligence gathering and air and naval operations. The specific operations that go on here are mostly classified, with only very limited info ever being disclosed to us, the public. So just like with any place like this, there's a lot of speculation as to what goes on here. The US military base on the island has also been a key hub for the projection of American power in the area. It played a big role during the Gulf War, the Iraq War, and the war in Afghanistan. Alright, next up, we have a really creepy spot. Bohemian Grove. This place is this vast, almost 3,000 acre campground that's strictly invite only. Super exclusive. It's an elite club and only wealthy men are allowed. Every year, some of the most powerful and influential guys in Hollywood gather here. And what do? Apparently there are weird rituals and ceremonies. Famously, there's this huge owl statue that kind of oversees everything. Rumor has it that hooded figures World leaders, big shot businessmen, and even famous artists gather around this owl for some kind of secretive ritual. If you're thinking of attempting to venture out and get a peek at the place, it's heavily guarded, surrounded by military personnel. No prying eyes or cameras are allowed anywhere near under any circumstances. So, are there political discussions going on here? Shady deals, creepy ritualistic sacrifices? Not sure if there are any True Detective fans in the audience, but it kind of gives me those sorts of vibes, which are not good vibes. Surprisingly, I haven't talked much about aliens on this list so far, so let's talk about Dulce Base. This is an underground facility that's rumored to be a hotbed of extraterrestrial activity, a secret lair where aliens and members of the United States government team up for all sorts of wild and weird experiments. The juicy gossip is that the humans and aliens actually work together here, collaborating on super advanced technology and playing around with genetics. Some even go as far as saying that aliens themselves are the bosses running the show here. As for the experiments, we're talking mind control shenanigans and even the creation of human-animal hybrids. And we're finishing things off with Jiangsu National Security Education Museum in China. This is not your average museum where you just casually stroll through exhibits. No. This one has a focus on national security. What makes this place extra bizarre is that only Chinese citizens are allowed in. If you're a foreigner, you're not getting in. So because I'm not from China, I don't know what's exactly in there, and it's tough to find any definitive insider info on it. But essentially, this wing of the museum is dedicated to spy stuff, primarily spreading awareness to Chinese citizens about supposed outsider espionage from other countries. Now, in all seriousness, I'm not 100% sure if this place is still closed off to tourists from outside the country, but when it first opened in 2009, it definitely was. Anyway, if you're ever in China and feel brave enough to brush up on your espionage skills, try donning your best spy gear and try to sneak a peek. With all that said though, I've been your host James, and I'll catch you, yes you specifically, in the next video.